I think it probed me. Like, it's not that type of thing. This is actual credible sources of people that...
Faith and Failures Podcast.
So aliens. Y'all ready for this? This actually... So this is funny to me because in the church, there's not a whole lot... And we can't really like preach a sermon on aliens. That would be weird and people would leave. I would probably leave in that. Be like, this guy has lost it. But we're not in church. We are the church. But we are doing a podcast. And so we're going to kind of look at some highlights of, in the last few weeks, what we have seen in the UFO hearings in the Senate. Now, granted, this is not, think about this. This is not something that is just a video online. This is something where it's a lot more official than that. Like, these are not some... Yeah, man, I was out in the woods, and then all of a sudden this thing picked me up, and it took me off, and I didn't know where I was, and I lost days, and I lost time, and then I woke up in the field with my clothes off. I don't know what was going on, man. I think it probed me. Like, it's not that type of thing. This is actual credible sources of people that are putting their life on the line. They're not just backwoods people that are... Sorry, I got visual in my head with what I said just a second ago. Like, it's something that's actual, I'm not going to say proof, but witnesses that are putting it all on the line, and they're putting their name out there, and they're putting their jobs out there to actually come forward and say, this is happening. I have seen it with my own eyes. So we're going to watch some highlighted clips on this. Breaking Points is over here on YouTube. You can watch it. 1.2 or 1.02 million subscribers. Speaking of which, thank y'all so much. We just passed on the YouTube. I think it's 1,300 subscribers now, so that's awesome. Thank y'all so much for subscribing and going along for the ride. So before we start, I've always wanted to play this for an actual reason. Okay, that was all. I got it out of my system. All right, let's go over here to my screen. Let me adjust this a little bit for y'all so you can see this better. So we're going to do a little of this, a little bit of that. Okay, so let's watch this.
I had to hold it all in.
Like your Super Bowl saga.
This was a Super Bowl. We had the UFO hearings that happened on Congress. I was there live in person on Capitol Hill. It was absolutely electric energy. I talked to some of the press people who were involved. They said they had rarely seen so many people who were interested. There were hundreds of people lined up outside, many of them Breaking Points fans, so shout out to all of you who I got to talk to a little bit yesterday. I think we should take this opportunity to just go through some of the most important events that happened during the hearing. If you're interested, Jeremy Corbell and I did a live reaction right outside of the Capitol that I referenced earlier in our show that's available currently on our YouTube channel. But to me, this moment's going to stick out above everything. It's what all the news outlets picked up. Backstory, I was sitting at the press table with all the other reporters, and when Dave Grush said the words non-human biologics, there was an audible gasp, not only at the press table.
Can you imagine, like, if that's your job and you're getting to be, like, we're watching things after it happened, but, like, to actually be there. I mean, I know they're not, like, standing over the body or anything of an alien, but he's kind of in the middle, like, his job is kind of in the middle of him, like, history is being made. Like, nobody has come out like this before that has been so out there and so official. It'd be kind of like, if I was in his shoes, I would kind of be like a kid in a candy shop, like, oh my gosh, this is surreal.
But throughout the entire room, the energy was just absolutely insane. Here's the moment that I'm talking about. Let's take a listen.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Now, what does non-human mean? I don't know the depths of what non-human means, so I don't know exactly what that means. I'm sure we'll find out more, but just food for thought.
So that's probably the biggest thing that came out of that crystal, non-human biologics. Now, okay, let's try and steelman the case, because I think that's always fun. That could mean anything, right? That could mean a rat. That could mean a dog.
That's what I said.
It was clearly implied in the way that Dave Grush stated that as the UFO whistleblower testifying under oath, under penalty of perjury, having represented all of this not only to News Nation, but also entering it into the congressional record and also going through the whistleblower process to say say that we have recovered alien craft, he refuses to say the word alien, or extraterrestrial. He just says non-human origin. That these,
which is fair.
Not only
which is fair.
there not only was a crash retrieval program, but that, quote, biologics were recovered then at the time. I mean, that's just one of the most stunning things that you really could say under oath before Congress in the UFO context. Obviously, it's salacious. It has a little bit of the giggle factor. It has a little bit of the movie factor, and seems so unbelievable. And of course, extraordinary claims do also require extraordinary evidence. But I'm curious what you made of that, or if you have any questions or anything.
I mean, it was just wild to watch members of Congress seriously asking these questions. I mean, that was wild to see. It is a remarkable development that this is being treated with the gravity that it is at this.
Now, we talk about development. Now, think about this just a little. Could this be a distraction? Because next year, we're going to be voting. I've seen people lie for a lot less. Could this be some sort of distraction to where they're saying, oh, there must be something out there. Oh, there is. Forget about what we're talking about over here. Forget about the issues at hand. There's aliens. I mean, think about it. Like, would you put it past the government? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I got some theories. Would you put it past the government to, like, seriously put up some facade? Or, I mean, think about it. Now really think about this. Okay, who is it that presses charges for perjury under oath? The government. Okay, now just follow me here. If the government is the one pressing charges, couldn't they put up a front man to make claims to distract from what's going on over here? And then if they find out to be purged, just like other people who have sent emails and who have made deals with other countries they shouldn't have, all this other stuff that no one wants to talk about, or apparently no one is held accountable for, just throwing that out there. Could it be possibly that the government, or some entity that we're too stupid to see and understand, we just don't get it, we're peasants, could it be that maybe they would bail them out or secretly hide them away and they wouldn't actually be in the trouble that perjury is supposed to get you in? I'm just saying. It's a big possibility that if the government's the one that presses charges under oath of perjury, then they can make them disappear too, right? I mean, it's not like our government would put up a front person to take the fall for some underhanded stuff they're doing. That's not what they do. Well, like our government, maybe some foreign government, but our government would not do that. Our government would. So now, if you think there are aliens, or if you don't think there are aliens, first of all, it's kind of a unique concept because, and I'm not saying or imposing my belief on you or whether I believe or whether I don't believe. I'm not 100% sure. It's like when people argue biblical themes or biblical principles, it can sometimes, if you pull enough scripture from one place, you can get one answer. And if you pull enough scripture from another place, and you can just sit there and fight all the time. I don't choose to fight over stupid things that really don't matter to me, but it is an interesting topic. Like, could God have created something on another planet light years away? That's a very good question.